Hey everybody, HMV here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and today we're coming home from Ike and Duna. The window is in 77 days, but we're burning in 1 day, and the reason why is I was having the hardest time getting HMV's ship out of Ike at the right time to leave Duna. So I figured I would just leave Duna's sphere of influence on this very small 4.4 meter per second burn, and then out here in solar orbit do the actual burn to come down and connect to Kerbin. So that's what we're going to do today. And we've also got a ship going to Eve that you'll see a little bit later. It's the Evilite, much like the Dunalite. It's just a satellite to complete the bunch of contracts that I took last episode. So anyway, let's go ahead and time warp up here. Let's loop around Ike a couple times. Where's Duna? There's Duna. With the crazy shadows. Yeah, one of the big problems with this orbit is how it's totally super elliptical. So like I had to time it when it was here to make it worth burning, and it was always, I think it was out here was where the best burn was to go. Sadly I didn't record any of that because it was kind of boring, but what are you gonna do? It's a very tiny burn. So I'm just gonna do it here. Perfect. Now we're leaving Duna, we're leaving Ike. We still have a pretty good connection here. I'm gonna bump this forward and back a little bit in time. Seems to still keep our connection fine to Kerbin. But now I'm going to focus on Kerbin if the game lets me. Yeah, see, we're gonna bring him down. The idea is obviously we don't wanna aero brake too much, although if I remember correctly I did put a heat shield on this guy, so he should be able to survive a lot, but I just don't know how much he can survive because I've twiddled with the heat stuff in the game, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen if we aero brake him. If I was thinking ahead, I would have tested this with a probe first, but you know me. I'm not going to actually do that. Let's go ahead and see if we do something like this. I'd like to come in the correct way. See, this is an 886 meter per second burn, so we're still going to have 400 meters per second when we get here. So let's see, those numbers are moving and they're constantly going down, which is the opposite of what should happen. So I'm going to go into 5 times time warp so that we pretty much nail them. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver here and make it negative 400. Precise node's not letting me jump to that maneuver, which is kind of funny. Add a maneuver here. Yeah, there's something going on with my mods. Oh well. And I can't, there's no way to tell what it is. And this, yeah, this maneuver node, it kind of tells me for a second. No. That's no good. Oh, here we go. I forgot about this. This thing, I figured out what this 0.01 does. Oh, I read what this 0.01 does. It gives you kind of a precise node interface. I'm actually going to close precise node down and see if I can survive without it. Wouldn't that be weird if I stopped using precise node? I guess I can't get rid of it. I can just drag it off the screen. Okay. But anyway, manual delta V input. So we want negative 400 and something. I mean, that basically makes it so that we can aero brake no problem. So I think we can actually aim this guy right at a really good periapsis. And you know, we can leave it like this and just tweak it when the time comes, because we're going to be going like that something. Yeah, we want to nail our periapsis somewhere fairly low, and then when we get here, we'll just do a burn to burn away all of our speed, and then come down, and we'll be perfectly fine. Okay, let's go ahead and watch the Ike Sciencer leave everywhere. There goes Duna and Ike. Hopefully, we're going to get a lot of science, and we'll unlock all the ISRU stuff. So the next trip up, we're going to be fully good. We basically have all the ISRU stuff. The only thing I don't have that I want is the big ore tank. And now out here in sun orbit, let's burn ourselves back down to Kerbin. The game's doing that weird thing where the maneuver node isn't going down, even though we're burning it. I don't know exactly what that is or why it's happening. So I'm just going to burn here and watch this go down until it gets close to Kerbin, and hopefully we'll have a Kerbin connection at some point there. It's really annoying when that happens, but we can tweak it. We can tweak it later. Nice tight periapsis here. That's a little too tight. Let's aim ourselves prograde. Thrust limit ourselves down. There we go. 32 should be perfectly fine. Okay, now we're going to set a maneuver node here. We have 376 meters per second left. We set a maneuver node basically right before here. And then we burn ourselves negative, let's say 300. And then radial out 76. That should put our new periapsis right around the same place that our old periapsis was, but we'll be going sub-lunar, and we're going to have no trouble. We're going to have no trouble burning up in the atmosphere, so we're fine there. So there you go. That is after, sadly, the Kerbin Duna window. So I'm going to need to send something to Duna, and I think I'm gonna send a complete ship that can do all the ISRU stuff just without the big ore tanks, and then we're gonna have it set up so that we can throw parts of it away, and it's gonna be our first modular base. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump to the Evilite and check it out. Okay, and here's the Evilite. It's one of the worst ships I've designed in a long time. I made two major mistakes on this. You see I have a decoupler here, and I've got two fuel tanks here. The idea was to throw these away when they emptied, so to save the mass of carrying them. But then I put not only the science, but the antenna on the same stage that I was going to throw away. And not only do I need this to complete the EVE contracts, I also need the antenna to control the probe. So this thing is basically garbage. I think it still has enough delta V to make it to at least one of these orbits. I hope. It says it has 1,000,000 left in the tank. We're going to find out. Okay, and if I remember correctly, yeah, this burn is set up to kind of put us in a nice touch on this orbit here. So let's go ahead and do that. It's actually a pretty big burn, so let's do most of it in regular mode. I'll just tweak it here. There we go. That should be perfect. Okay, now when we get to somewhere around here, should be fine. We're going to slow down. Looks about right. No, it's nowhere near right. We're going to slow down more. And we're going to do our normal. All the steps. If we do these all at the same time, it saves a lot of delta V, because walking the diagonal is so much better. Okay, 676, so we can at least get this one, and then hopefully once we're in this orbit will be pretty cheap to nail. So I think we'll still be fine. The Kerbin Duna window is the next thing though, so I need to bid you adieu and build a ship, and I will be back in a little bit. I built more than a ship. I built a conglomeration of ships. It's 180 tons just under this fairing here, and let's go ahead and launch it. Should probably turn the computer on as well. This thing is pretty nuts. Clayton Harrison, by the way, is our engineer. He was a scientist, and he has been side graded to an engineer. We are at the point now where we don't need scientists as much anymore. We still need a little bit of science, but not too much. And before I hire anybody else, I'm going to use Clayton, and I've got a couple other people, and I don't remember who you are. I've got somebody, Sal, I think, is still in orbit of the moon. He needs rescue. And I've got one more person in the astronaut complex just chilling out, waiting to go, and he's a scientist. But once I get places for you guys, we got a Minmus base that we need to make. But it's kind of funny, I'm making the Ike base before I make the Minmus base. But what are you gonna do? But before I do any of that, I want to use the people who we have, so that we have people out there who have a bit of experience and who are leveled up and things like that. Included in this fairing that is way too big for what it should be, for what's lifting it, I should say. Including under this fairing though is a one of those science labs, and it will allow me to level up anybody at Ike. Here go the solids. Please don't crash into my ship. Thank you very much. Okay, we need to crank over that because, oh, lots of explosions. We've got a 16-kilometer apoapsis. And this thing is asparagus staged with no fuel lines, something I really enjoy being able to do. And these are mainsails, by the way. They're lifting this whole thing up. It's 180 tons lifting it with 5 mainsails. So you notice my thrust to weight is 0.7. So it's actually good that I was pretty vertical on my climb. I don't really want to get too much below 45 degrees here. I'm also going to hold on to these guys until our time to apoapsis is over a minute, even when the fuel runs out. The good thing about the new fuel flow system is these engines will keep going even though they don't have any fuel in their tanks, because of the crossfeed works both ways. But we're sitting here at 30 seconds. This fuel tank's gone, so I don't care about it anymore. So I'm just going to watch these ones now. And this is a representative of these two and these two. These are all at the same priority level. Okay, our time is going up. I'm just going to sit here at 45 degrees. This is basically what I did the first time that I got this thing up. I had multiple tries. I got it up to a minute before dropping the side tanks, and then I got it up to 2 minutes before I dropped these tanks. And what's under here, other than Clayton, is I don't know which order they're in, but there's a surface base that all it does is drill ore, and then there's a orbiter that can take ore, rocket parts, fuel, metal, and monoprop. So it has everything basically, and it's going to do the conversion. And then there's a lifter that can lift ore to the or from the surface to the space station. And so all construction is going to be done in space. It's just what I'm going to do here. Where I'm watching my time to apoapsis here. It's almost at a minute, so I'm going to hit the side tanks in a second here, and there we go. And even though they were running, they did not lose out on anything. Notice our time is still going up, so I'm just going to nail this thing on the prograde here. I'm also going to rotate it so that up is up on the nav ball. Now we're really gaining our speed, and we're still pushing our time up, which is good. But anyway, so yeah, and I'm using the, I don't know what mod it is. I think it's USI or perhaps Real Fuels. It allows you to switch what tanks do. You can right-click a tank and say, I guess I can't do it while it's being used, or actually no, I can't do it while it has fuel in it. But you can change what it holds. You can't change it completely. I couldn't change a liquid fuel tank to hold ore, but you can change, I think you can change ore to hold metal and things like that. So solids can hold solids, kind of thing. So let's see, actually, I'm actually doing better than I was before, because we're almost to 2 minutes pushed away, and we're almost pushing this down to 0. So I'm only gonna have to hold on to these for a little bit. So it looks like I have a better launch than I did during my initial testing. Okay, 57 and 2 minutes. There go those. But now our thrust to weight has dropped. It is 0.54. However, note our time to apoapsis is still going up. That's the joy of burning sideways. I don't need to burn very far sideways to get my time up. I am doing awesomely. I'm just going to keep pushing this thing. I can also ditch the fairing, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit F5 first. There go the fairings. Looks like we didn't lose anything. That's always a good sign. Yeah, but here's the landed base. Here's the space station, and then here's the lifter. I believe Clayton is in this one here. Yeah, Clayton's in that one. And now I'm basically just going to burn all the fuel out of this thing, pushing my apoapsis way up high. That way it's going to burn up in the atmosphere when the time comes. So I'll be back when that's done. Okay, I'm not quite done yet, but I'm burning up, and I'm gonna tell you why here. I don't want my periapsis to get out of the atmosphere, because when I drop this, I want it to burn back up. So I'm doing similar. I'm doing the opposite of what I did coming back from Minmus the last time I did, where you burn kind of at an angle, so that you are able to in there, so you're able to slow down without raising your or lowering or raising your periapsis. Well, now I'm speeding up without raising or lowering my periapsis, doing basically the same thing I did there, which is burning up or down based on whether or not my periapsis is going up or down. And we're out. Okay, I'm going to hit X to cancel throttle. Then we're going to hit the space bar to get rid of that. Then we're going to see what our orbit looks like. That's a really good orbit. That's a lot of oh, we can't we can't put a maneuver node because Clayton isn't a pilot, but he does have an antenna, and it's right here. And also, when we get this thing in orbit, we're going to get a contract to put a station in orbit at Kerbin. This thing costs 300,000 Kerbucks, but we should have a... Oh, we don't. Generally, I guess we don't. I would think that this thing would be able to talk to something around Moon. One of these things around Moon should have a satellite dish, but not a big deal. We'll just keep time warping until we find a station. There we go. We also need to open up all the solar panels, which seems to have broken. I have all y'all installed. If you try to extend this, it says extend all radiators. But I think I installed the one that works in 1.2 or 1.2.2. And this is a 1.2.1 save because a lot of mods haven't updated to 1.2.1 yet. Yeah, that should be good enough. But I'm not that concerned. I just don't like having to open my solar panels. That's why I wrote them on. So it's kind of funny that I can't extend all, but it's obviously installed because I can extend all radiators and it works fine. So so I don't know what it is, but I know it works because I tested 1.2 or 1.2.2. You know what I mean. Okay, and as Kerbal Alarm Clock tells me that I'm getting close, I am very close. Because of the fact that the node is so close, or the node is so long, I have to burn it pretty early into the burn. It's good-ish that I'm at almost the worst spot to do this burn. The worst spot, of course, would be the apoapsis. The best spot would be the periapsis. I could have planned this a lot better. If I had done this burn at periapsis, it would probably have saved me a couple hundred delta V, maybe even 500. I don't know if it would be that much, but we're burning about the same amount that it would take to burn in low Kerbal orbit to get to Duna. It's just, it's what happens when you don't plan ahead. But while I'm doing this long, slow burn here, I figure I'll show you what I'm doing on this ship here. This thing here, you notice it's set up to hold only ore. This guy here is set to hold up metal. This guy holds ore. This guy holds rocket parts, and this guy holds rocket parts, and this guy holds ore. So what this guy's going to do is this is going to land on Ike and just drill ore. This guy's going to come down, pick up the ore, bring it up to the station, drop the ore into this tank. It's going to convert it into metal, and it's going to use the lab here to convert it into rocket parts. And then using the docking ports here, it's going to be able to turn those rocket parts into spaceships. Clayton here is going to be living on this base because he's going to make the drills more efficient. Luna is going to be living on the space station because she's a scientist and has a science lab there. And Nathan is going to basically be living on this ship, going back and forth between the two, and making everybody happy. But that's it. That's the way the ship works. And also, obviously, it can make fuel and it can make monoprop because there's two little monoprop tanks here. And also, if you look here, we've got a contract to dock this thing to the Duna Station 1, which is in orbit around Ike. It needs supporting at least 16 Kerbals. Duna Station 1 supports 11, so we support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we get this whole thing docked to the Duna Station 1, that'll count. It needs 2,000 units of monoprop. There's already 1,500, so we're bringing two 250 tanks to put 500 more, and then maintain stability for 10 seconds, and we'll make the money back for the trip that we just did. Okay, we're getting close enough that I'm wandering a bit on the thing here. I've got my finger on the X key, waiting for it to show up in Duna Sphere of Influence here. I'm just going to kill it now and do the last bit slowly. That was terrible. I hit X. See, I always panic and then I hit X. Now I have to let this thing rotate itself around. But anyway, you saw I nailed it. So I'm gonna jump forward to the Evilite. We're gonna take care of that, get him into one of his 2 orbits, if not both, and then I'm gonna bid you adieu. So hold on. And here we are at Eve. We're coming in very slowly. We got a long way to go. And a long time to get there. But let's go ahead and aim at that maneuver node. 600 meters per second. That's a lot, but you do what you gotta do. 48-second burn. Shouldn't be too hard. And a slightly different burn. These are the things you sometimes just have to fix them on the fly. There we go, 685. Can't quite see it probably, but Eve is right there. Yeah, see, I was worried about this. I think Kerbal Engineer is assuming that I would throw away that fuel tank that I should have by now thrown away. So this delta V is actually higher than what I actually have. So I might, after this contract, fail the other one. Oh, did we already get this thing? Oh, we've initiated the first flyby of Eve. Well, we've initiated the first orbit of Eve, actually. Satellite in a specific orbit of Eve, we got it. 269. So this and the stationer on Kerbin paid for the Kerbin contract, which is nice. Okay, now that we have this orbit, we need to burn prograde here to push this part of our orbit here. Yeah. Should probably do it here. Let's do this here. Let's do it with a maneuver. If we push this out and fix our tilt and do some radial all at the same time, in theory, it will cost less. Total of 384, which is more than what we have. Okay, what if all we do is fix our tilt? Fixing our tilt costs 300. So yeah, see, for 82 more, we could get a nice, yeah, see, we just don't have this. 306 will get us here, and I don't think we have 306 because I think that 322 assumes that we've thrown away some of our mass. Let's go ahead and try. Because what do we got to lose, right? Other than the contract. Let's see how poorly our estimations are here. How poorly they are, as opposed to how poor they are. I seriously doubt this burn at here will be 27 meters per second. Yeah, it's a lot more than that. We are 70 some odd meters per second shy. I have an idea. I'm actually going to continue trying. Oh no, it won't work. It won't matter because this other contract needs a materials bay and a thermometer on the satellite. I was thinking I could do the burn and then just eject, kick this, which would lose my antenna, but it would also lose the materials bay and the mystery goo. But oh well, we did the best we could. Let's go ahead and review the data here. Might as well transmit it. But oh well, at least we got something for our troubles. Yeah, obviously the all y'all is having some issues in this mod, so I might have to roll back to 0.10 or even 0.9. But anyway, that's for me to do and not for you to watch. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing. I'm HMV and I will, as always, talk at you later.